This is our CleanGold webinar for this week, and it's great to welcome all of you here to hear from myself and Barnaby Anderson, that is, and Paul Hanna, CEO of New Fortune, and just to go through the updates. So, Paul, it's great to be here. Yeah?
Yep. Hi, everyone.
Awesome.
Good to not see you and not hear you.
So I'll be acting on behalf of everybody. Any questions that come through, right. And I'll just direct us through. So I thought I'll just walk us through the presentation that we have, everybody, just so you can me and Paul will basically just discuss these points, and then any questions that anybody has, please do definitely raise them. And so just as an introduction, like one of the things that really spurred this whole project off the ground was in many ways the supply chain shortage that happened earlier in the year. And I basically, like a partnership, I was looking for somebody to be able to provide the gold when it wasn't really available so easily because of all the shutdowns. And there we have New Fortune and Clean Mining, Paul Hanna heading up all of that, basically going direct from the mines. So, Paul, what's your take on the state of gold in the world at the moment?
Well, there's not enough. There's plenty of paper out there saying that they've got the rights to gold, but there's actually simply more paper than there is actual physical gold by a long shot. I'm only guessing, but there's probably 20 times less gold than paper. So we do see a problem there. There will be an issue on that, because when people want to actually redeem and get physical gold, you try to find it. That's going to be the issue, and I think that is the issue.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like I've heard reports that with all the paper gold, as you're saying, it could even be in the 100+1 on the contracts to physical. I'm not sure if that can be verified, but in that sense, it becomes like a bit of a game of musical chairs, would you say, when the crunch comes?
I do, yeah, very much so. Just generally speaking, too much fiat being printed as well as EFT certificates around the world. It's I won't say it's frightening, because that's not the right word, but it should be alarming to everyone.
It's of concern. I would say it's definitely of concern. And the fact that most people haven't, as we can see, most people haven't really taken on that sort of concern. They haven't acted upon it, because even though we've seen the gold price, as you can see in this chart here, it's run up in the last 20 years, and especially the run up this year, especially. But it would seem that, it hasn't really clicked for everybody. Would you say that's fair to say?
I think we're in the first very early stages of people becoming aware of where we are with fiat currency and stable coins back with gold. I think we're really early days on it. I think, and that's one of the reasons why we got together with Barnaby, because the short and long-term view that we have here at New Fortune Gold and Clean Earth is that digital currency will outstrip fiat currency in spades as a real asset. I'm talking about here. So, I mean, it's ludicrous to think that Bitcoin has got to where it has, in my view, without an asset. So I find it amazing, but that's what the market wants, really.
It has, I would say even then, still people don't really understand money. They don't understand even these new assets. So like Bitcoin takes a lot of mind share in the marketplace, but there's very few people in the world, 0.001% or whatever, actually have some. And there's many more people who actually have gold. And I would say that was a turning point for me, was actually realizing that, hang on, it's going to be very hard for people to actually really get a value proposition on Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, but they'll always understand gold. And so having that basically, and then if we could actually, well, not if, but by marrying the power of and the integrity of blockchain, which is a verification system, with a real asset, the most traditional asset of all, gold, that sounds like a winner.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you've called the deck the Pioneer deck. I think that's for a reason. We are at the start of something that we think we're true believers, obviously, but we hope you are as well. But that this is going to, as we develop into next year, this type of offering is going to be ubiquitous. It's not quite where we are, because we think we're very unique in what we are doing here, but the actual use of the blockchain and currency to assets is going to be the way that the world is going to go. I just can see that. The Chinese government are going to do it. So
yeah,
we actually want to be at the start of it. I think that's the point I want to make here. We are right at the start of something that's going to be, next 10, 20, 30 years is going to be the norm. So, but you have to be in it to win it. Is that a fair call?
You do. Absolutely. Look, I'm just seeing some of the comments that are coming through on these points. We've got Andrew mentioning ETFs have secondary minor claims on the gold, the insurance of which does not amount to much. So that's what. So people. What would you say to that, Paul?
Oh, look, it's you can have insurance, and you can have offsets in that way, but the bottom line is very insecure. In reality, it's a financial instrument really with hope, but it's in the marketplace, so people usually go with the market. So it's not as secure as people think, however.
For sure. I've also got John piping up in here saying that he sees that gold-backed digital currency will actually be the bridge of bringing credibility to digital currencies, because there's a gap there. People aren't feeling as much credibility in the cryptocurrency, and so when we can demonstrate that there actually is real value here from gold, and so then I think that's going to bring a lot of credibility. And it's not only us actually who are thinking like this. We've got one of the most prominent investors in the world who's just bought into one of the largest gold mining stocks, which was, I think, a big vote of confidence in this direction, given that he was so kind of essentially anti-gold for so long. What would you say about that, Paul?
Well, he's one of the sage of Omaha, I think they call him. So
yeah,
he sees the light finally. I rang him.
Interestingly,
I rang him the other day to tell him he's done the right thing, and he said, "Thank you very much, Paul."
I bet. Well, actually, his father was very big on gold, so it's kind of it's actually a little bit curious when you look into him. Like sometimes people, they say one thing and do another, and so he was raised by somebody who was very bullish on gold, and then for him to always be poo-pooing it, like he basically was, and then at this precise moment, there he is jumping in and going direct to the mines, which I think is actually something that what we're going to be talking about here.
Correct.
I think that's one of the
Yep.
So that's the exciting thing. That was what I realized was, in a time when there's a lockdown, when there's supply chain issues, and when people are actually saying there's difficulties getting a hold of the gold, well, where can you be sure of it? You could go direct to the mines, and that's what you've got going. So just I think that's one of the most exciting things that we've got here. And not only that, but you've got a unique mining operation with the CleanGold, because most people aren't even aware, Paul, about the actual toxins and the waste. And what was it that got you really excited about setting up a very different kind of gold product?
We worked many years, 4 years ago, approximately, with the CSIRO here in Western Australia. The CSIRO are owned by the Australian government and probably one of the are the biggest R&D group in Australia and up there in the world in terms of credibility. So we actually collaborated with them. They were doing the lab testing to replace cyanide, which is used in extraction of gold. It's universal. It's been used for many years around the world. Highly toxic, but nevertheless it does work. And it actually grabs the gold very successfully. So the CSIRO in the lab over 10 years and probably million later came to us just by, well, serendipity, let's call it that. And we collaborated, we signed a collaboration agreement with them and built the first pilot plant to prove the technology, and i.e. take it from the lab into a plant of scale, so on-ground testing. We did that. We built the plant within 9-10 months, and we extracted gold to prove the concept, more than a concept, to prove that this would work at scale within 10 months, and we poured our first bar of gold. So we then actually bought the patents from them. We still work with them today. We've got an agreement with them for another 3-5 years to come up with new ways of producing non-toxic gold. So the whole thing was, we wanted to make sure that we could recover gold at the same rate as cyanide, because let's face it, it's got to have a business case for it, for people to use our process. And we've done that in terms of matching cyanide in most ores in recovery, and in some cases we are far better in the various ore types. So that's what turned me on, is that we could actually get gold at the same recovery rate. The capex is, better. We can actually produce a mobile gold plant, whereas the big cyanide tanks are too big and immobile. So we've been working with them on that, and New Fortune Gold is the recipient, if you like, of this technology. So New Fortune Gold, what really turns me on and the team is that we're going to the world as the first non-toxic gold miner, and that's where we're positioning ourselves. So we don't use mercury, and we do not use cyanide. And that coin is the first clean gold coin that we minted in Singapore, and that's what it's all about, is being able to produce clean gold. Because we do think that over time, with the governments around the world basically banning cyanide and banning toxicity, we know this because we have around about 500 companies approached us already, qualified, and we have roughly 28 in lab testing now to use our process. And so the world does want this. The governments are actually banning the use of cyanide, I won't say daily, but on a monthly basis. You're getting all Eastern Europe not using it, banned it. We have places in America like Montana, lots of South America. Victoria is very anti-cyanide in Australia. So there is definitely a movement going towards non-toxic gold mining, and that's where we are. That's what we're offering here. So what does that really mean to the investors? Well, we do think clean gold in its own right will have a premium over time. We're not suggesting that that will happen overnight, but we are getting consumers here in Perth from the jewelers feedback that people are prepared to pay extra for clean gold.
And and on that point, because I would say most people, they don't even know that like the average, like just a gold ring, like even a gold wedding ring, has upwards of 20 tons of waste associated with it. So I think that this is still something that people need to become aware of. They're not really fully, like, people are aware of the blood diamonds as such, but they're not aware of the dirty gold and the impact that's having on the miners and the community around the mine, and especially the environment as well. So that's, you bringing this technology out to clean up the mining industry, the gold mining industry, it's going to have a really big effect. And very few people know about it. Like, we've got people commenting in here saying that, they think you're an absolute legend. That's what Andrew's saying. and people are just they're really impressed with everything you're doing here with this.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about it. We're actually doing it, and that's the movement. We're not talking about maybes. We're actually dedicated to getting this. I think what's happening, Barnaby, in the from our marketing feedback we're getting is that we have a tiger by the tail, literally a tiger by the tail, and the calm before the storm and all that sort of stuff. And it is very exciting but very scary, because when this really does get into full blown production around the world, we've created a whole new gold industry, and that's what we set out to do, to be fair. But
and this clean mining technology, it can be licensed, and many other mines can actually make use of this, can't they, and come under this umbrella. This is just the first mining operation that we've got going.
Yeah. So what's happening is Clean Earth Technologies is domiciled in Singapore. We have an office here in Perth as well, and it's run. That company is actually going for an IPO in Singapore next year in Q2, Q3, and so we're New Fortune is doing similar here in Western Australia. We're actually going to an IPO on the ASX, Australian Stock Exchange, next year as well. But so the two companies collaborate together whilst being independent, if you like. But we are getting a lot of people coming to New Fortune because of the technology. So one is feeding the other. For example, there's no cyanide or mercury licenses being given out in Montana in the United States. So we've had people that have 5 gold mines come to us in Perth, as it turns out, because they're Perth Australian miners. So came to us. We're talking to them about production, joint venturing with them on gold and bringing the technology into Montana. At the same time, we're talking to the regulators in Montana about using our tech, and that's just one example of how the technology and the gold mining work together. It's just one example.
I've got a couple of points coming through here. So Chris has just asked, what is the response from the chemical companies? Have you heard anything from the toxic chemical companies on when they see what you're doing? Have they said anything?
No, Chris. No, we've had a little bit wanting to talk to us about manufacturing and all that, but right now we're under the radar. So we don't expect any real movement there until we certainly list in Singapore. There'll be a lot of noise made. So we deliberately stay quiet. Well, not that we're quiet, but there's quite a bit. But we're under the radar.
Would you say that's a fair comment? Like, we've only just come out to market, and I think some people are just saying, why aren't people picking this up? And because we've only just launched, and very few people at this point even know about us. That's fair to say, isn't it, Paul?
We have 28, I think, 28 companies now from around the world in the laboratory testing. So that's 28. Wow. That certainly goes to 56 and doubling, and then you have a critical mass. That's a lot of business. So yes. We have 450, 500 inquiries. We get probably 3 inquiries or 4 per week. It is out there, but the question for us is, how do we actually service and supply? It's not a question of the market.
Absolutely. And so to kick it off, we've got the first mining operation that we were talking about before that you've set up, that you've purchased, the Radio Gold Mine, which is about 5 hours drive out of Perth, that you can see there on the map. Why did you pick this one, Paul? What was so exciting about this one?
The Radio Gold Mine is in Southern Cross, and Southern Cross was the first real gold territory in Western Australia in the gold rush, even before Kalgoorlie. And the Radio Gold Mine was the richest privately owned gold mine in Australia for many, many years, and it averaged 37 grams per tonne. So that was down basically 100 metres down the shaft. So the old timers and the old diggers and so forth went down there and found this, high grade gold. They followed it, and then wars and things happened, and gold prices fell and so forth. But we bought that because of its grade, and it grades just so well that we can make money on it. So we've put a 6+ gram tag on it, which is very high. So it's constant, is what I'm saying. We've hit 500 grams per tonne in certain areas of it, but we don't know how far that goes, and because it's down to 100 metres only. So we're going to expand it's what you call a decline. We're going to spend $3 million in going down to level 10, and then stoping out from there. So we're investing in a quicker way of mechanising the tonnage that we get to the surface by going down a decline, which means you can send trucks down. Okay, so your quantity is sixfold, whereas
basically extracting 6 times the amount of gold out of the.
Well, we can go down the existing shaft. It's there now, done, and we can do that. But we're not going to get the volume by using a shaft, because you can imagine people going down in a basket type of bit more sophisticated than that, but not much. And it's a good way. It was the old way. The new way is to spend the money, put a decline in, which means you go down 14 degrees. So it's 1 in 7.
Yeah,
and you
it's like a
zigzag down to the bottom. So when you reach level 10, you can stope out at any of those levels, left or right, and we can drill further down, because there's gold beyond the 100-metre level. That's where we think we'll actually really find some serious gold grades there. So we're going to stay at Radio because there's gold there, and we'll be doing some drilling as we put the decline in to increase the actual JORC. We've got 28,500 ounces there, which is not big, but it's big enough.
So on that point, like that's the JORC report. That was the official JORC report for the Radio Gold Mine. And you've been saying that the most recent reports are indicating upwards of, what was that, like up to 6 times the amount there on that one mine?
Yeah, look, I don't want to give the false impression here, but we're very bullish about 100, 200,000 ounces out of Radio by just increasing the drilling. But at the moment, we're happy to get the gold, bring it to surface, and get it into coin. Yeah.
I got some, on that point on the coin, I got some questions coming through as we're talking. So one from Luke. What is the current timeline for the gold minted coins to be available to exchange the CGTC? And also, is Radio being progressed into production on the back of the CGTC that's being sold? And so I can answer that. So basically what we're doing is this is a way of financing. So there's multiple ways of that the mine is being financed. And the sale of the CGTC is a pre-sale for the gold. And yes, all of this is moving towards facilitating the speeding up of the mining operation, which is already underway. And the timeline would be, well, it's clearly explained on the website that our goal is to have it available for redemption to those gold coins in the 4th quarter of 2021. Did you want to say anything on?
Yeah, look, we are actually going into a pre-IPO raise for New Fortune Gold, which means that we will have an IM/prospectus out within the next 2 or 3 weeks for a pre-IPO offering before we list on the ASX. So that will also enhance other leases and tenements that we have. So we have under contract now another 200,000 ounces at a North Kalgoorlie location, and the goal is that we have, in the order of 500,000 to 600,000 ounces, by April next year in New Fortune. So we're going to drastically enhance the number of ounces that we have in the company. So, but we've zeroed in on radio for the reasons I've already explained, because of the grade. But it certainly isn't the only gold mine that we've got in our company.
Absolutely. So basically, we're bringing to market there's like essentially two opportunities here. One is the pre-purchase of the gold at a discount. That's the CGTC. So that's basically pre-buying the gold for redemption in the fourth quarter next year, in around 12 months. And the other is the pre-IPO for New Fortune's mine itself. So these are the two that bring to market.
Correct. So look, from a company point of view, we really look at shovel-ready purchases. That's what we call it here. How quickly can we get the gold? We're not really an explorer. We'd rather buy existing mines that we have drilling results, and we'd rather pay for that and get in and get the gold quickly. Otherwise, you're spending 4, 5, 6, 10 years exploring, and it's you don't actually get quite often. I think the percentage in Australia is round about 1 to 2% of the gold companies actually produce gold.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, which is quite amazing. So our DNA, if you like, has always been and always will be getting gold. So
for sure,
that's it.
So we've got more questions coming up from John. We've got he's asking, so what are the opportunities to grow and procure other gold assets in the area? Well, I think as you can see on this slide here, there's already a number of mines that New Fortune's already working across. Yeah. John?
Yeah, we have tenements in Leonora in Western Australia, Menzies, Southern Cross, and the Eastern Goldfields. We've just picked up another huge track of potential targets in the Eastern Goldfields that we just couldn't resist. So there's 21 targets there in that patch, but that will be in the next 2 to 3 years. But we want to feed the pipeline, I guess, is what we're looking at in this company, and we'd like to be up 250,000 ounce type company in production per annum, within 5 years. So that's a serious company in terms of profits and so forth. We do have a strategy to do that.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But we've got to start somewhere. So I think that's really the thing.
And that's what we've been. So that's why we're starting. We've kicked off to market with the tokenized, with the digital certificates on the CGTC, which can be redeemed for the physical gold coins. Did you want to take it to the camera? Bring it to the camera so everybody can have a good look at it. There we go. That's it. Yeah. So this is the first minting of the CleanGold coins. That's it. And it's very exciting. How does it feel to hold them there?
Oh, that's great. As I said, I put them in my pocket and jangle them, go to the nightclubs.
So these are 50 grams. So basically what people are able to do is you can come in and you can pre-purchase, essentially buying gold at a discount at a time when it's actually hard to get gold, and it's often trading above the spot price to actually when you can get it physically. Here, because you're actually backing the mine, we're offering a unique offer for it at the time at this at a discount. And then for redemption, yeah.
A 50 gram coin is the starting point. We probably think, Barnaby, that there'll be a 100 gram coin minted as well, as the market, dictates what it wants to keep. And there will also be, kilo bars for those that, buy more gold.
And these will And these are all with the CleanGold. They'll have that insignia. You can see here on the screen here, the leaf, the little icon there. That's a major trademark, yeah?
We spent $400,000 in that trademark around the world. And that is it. CleanGold, with that logo, that little leaf, is synonymous with clean. So
Yes.
we spent a lot of money on getting that right. And if it doesn't have that logo, it's not clean.
Right. So we've got other questions coming, like people asking, like Andrew's saying, what do we think that gold will be worth that time next year when they can redeem the tokens once the mining is fully underway? I guess it's hard to sort of speculate. What would you say to that?
Is the question what do I think the gold price is going to be?
That's the question. Yeah.
Well, you know, obviously I'm bullish about it, but I'd be working on 2,500 USD.
Yeah, like obviously we can't. We're not financial planners. We can't really speculate exactly. And so do your own research. Have a look around. There are some Goldman Sachs and Bank of America that they're actually saying figures like even higher than what you're saying there, Paul.
Yeah,
and
look, that's just an opinion. You know, you can't. But look, I think this is my personal opinion. At $2,500 an ounce, from our point of view, from New Fortune Gold's point of view, that equates to an extra $700 per ounce Aussie, 700 or 800 extra per ounce, which costs you nothing extra.
That's why you're in the gold business, the gold mining business, because there's a profit here.
It's exponentially, hugely profitable. If you're doing, say, 20,000 ounces a year, and you're getting an extra $700 on the bottom line, you're putting another, 14 million. You know, in the pocket. So, you know, every $100 it goes up is significant. So when you see the big gold miners, you know, producing 300,000 ounces a year, and it's going up extra $700, you know, that's serious money.
That's right. So I'm just going to speak to this part because that's what's got maybe with my tech background of the last basically over 28 years. I'm excited about the potentiality of actually merging the technology with the blockchain with the gold directly from the mine. So how this is going to work, how CleanGold, just a quick overview here, is that the gold, once it's mined, that's what's happening over this next 12 months, is going to be stored securely in third-party vaults managed by Molka Amit, who's been one of the leading logistics companies for over 50 years. It's going to be recorded on the blockchain. So that's going to be, so you'll be purchasing these digital certificates recorded on the blockchain, and that's going to be your allocation of gold, which is going to basically also give you the convenience of a 24/7 digital asset that, you know, you'll be able to hold digitally in a secure wallet. And so there's a lot of functions from that. I recommend that you go to the website, and all this material here is available there. And everybody who's joining our network, we're being very above board. They all have to be KYC'd, know your customer, identity checked. So it does have that protection that everybody who's owning these digital certificates has already had their identity verified. So just covering off on some of these points here. So just to make sure, so you can see we've really been thinking through all the risks. So basically, obviously, there's a very close relationship with the mining operation. That's why we're able to bring Paul on board. He's the CEO of the New Fortune, and essentially, so having these interviews here, you know, you can see we're directly available. We're focused on automating everything from the mining process and having that clearly linked on the blockchain with third-party auditors. And we're even having a reserve pool on the side for funds raised. So, Paul, did you want to say anything on any of those points?
Yeah, look, we call it a sinking fund. 8% of funds that we raise in the first 12 months will be put into a sinking fund, cash reserve / gold reserve for redemptions, but until big production happens, and then we don't need to do that. But we are doing that as a matter of course to ensure that the base is covered for early redemption. Yeah.
So that's really what we're doing here. This is a financing operation that's getting this mine expedited. The mining is already happening, as you can see from the gold coins there, the first clean gold in the world. And and basically this pre-purchasing at a discount is further facilitating that along with the IPO that's coming. So these are some of the members of the team. Obviously, there's me there as the CEO of the tech side, the CleanGold. You have Sergio and John, and obviously we've got Paul Hanna, director of New Fortune, and Kevin Fell, director of Clean Mining. So, and there's plenty of other people on the team as well, dozens of people. So people are excited hearing everything we're saying here. Paul, people are asking when can they buy the stocks, and how can they get in? It's exciting.
Stay tuned on that. We'll let you know on that very soon.
Yeah. So basically, everybody, this is actually what I'm just going to do is push out a little poll. I'd love you to, if you could, you should be able to see the poll popping up that's just asking, would you like to buy the discounted gold tokens, the digital certificates, or are you more interested actually in the shares from the New Fortune mining operation? So,
or both.
Or both. It'd be great if you're interested in both. That'd be the best thing. So, yeah, Paul, did you have any other comments that you wanted to let people know about?
Look, not really, mate, to be honest, but I'm available on my phone. You know, you can get my direct call to my mobile if anyone wants it. We can answer any questions. We will keep in touch with you for both the purchase of the CleanGold and the pre-IPO that we're putting together in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we're meeting with the stockbrokers this Friday to enhance that. So I think the information flow, anyone wants information on that, just go directly to Barnaby, CGT. We'll be handling all that. So, but stay tuned.
Great. Yeah, so I've just actually people are saying that they want both. When being asked, I just pushed the poll out to everybody saying what are they really interested in, and most people are saying that they'd like to get both the discounted gold tokenized that they'll be able to use the digital asset, and also redemption for the coins, which is that's clearly available when you go to cleangold.io. You just go there, you can register. It just takes a couple of minutes to register. You answer a couple of questions, you do your KYC, your identity, and then you can basically select how many of the CGTC digital certificate tokens that you want to buy, which are redeemable for the gold. And coming up soon, we're going to have this other announcement, which is going to be for the IPO. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be putting some material. It's great that people are so excited about getting both. And people are saying, when are we having follow-up webinars? So it sounds like you guys all really liked being a part of this. So we can certainly do this again, wouldn't you say, Paul?
Yeah, happy. Yeah, very, very happy. I'd like, it's good to get feedback, you know, that's just the way I am, but it's sometimes a bit difficult that we're the only ones talking. But,
yes.
But having said that, happy to do it.
I'm reading out the comments that are coming through. How about just wrapping up? You could just bring the coin out one more time so they can see it right to the camera. So because I think people they really want to see. There we go, everybody. That's the first CleanGold 50-gram coins, and you can flip it around the back as well. Wow, look at that! It's beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. Look, it is great. But there is a bit of a premium on actually minting the coin, as we're finding out. So the weight of gold is whatever it is, you know, 65 US a gram, but we don't quite know how much that is, but people are prepared to pay more for a mobile coin, which is pretty standard in the industry. But we think the CleanGold coin may have a higher premium. Well,
as the local jewelers are saying, that it's commanding a higher price, like upwards of 10% above. So we wanted to keep this brief, everybody. It's been about 40 odd minutes. It's been great having you all here and discussing this with Paul, and people are really excited. They're thanking us a lot. They're very enthused about the project, and so it's been great having everybody on the call and showing this to you. So we'll stay tuned. We'll have more announcements coming up in the next coming weeks, and more webinars as well. So thanks, Paul. Have a great day in Perth.
Thanks, everybody. Have a happy day.